guys, welcome back to SourceFedNERD. Yay!
Hey, Puddin'!
Today's a very extra special day. You know why?
Why?
Because Suicide Squad came out. We're going to do a spoiler-free and spoiler-full review of the movie. You guys excited?
Yes.
Ready, Mr. J?
Is that... Oh, it's from the movie.
Wait.
Yeah, so
I have to be
is
more
that your
husky
Killer
now.
Croc impression?
That's the Killer Croc.
You guys got it.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
didn't snarl enough, but yeah, I got basically...
BLT or BET.
Yeah, you weren't
or
obvious.
Big TV. Not
Spoilers.
Sure. Oh my god.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
We can't do spoilers yet. We're going to kick it off with some spoiler-free reviews. As of right now, reviewers are not being kind to it, but fans seem pretty split.
Yeah.
And then not just DC fanboys or DC apologists.
Apologists.
Thank you, analysts over there. We're just coming as pretty neutral territory. Even though I'm wearing a lot of nerdy shit, we got nerdy shit on the couch and table and whatnot.
Neutral.
But let's kick it off. What did you guys think? Suicide Squad, spoiler free. Gonna kick it off with Maude.
Hold on, really quickly. I'm on tweets today.
Oh, you're on tweets. Oh yeah, we're gonna be reading your tweets.
At SourceFedNERD. We are about to hit 100,000 followers. So you haven't given us a follow. Now's the time to do that one.
Damn.
Not
Push
quite a
me to
million
1,000
subs, which we're about to hit. But you know what? Social media matters too. We put it out there. Any questions you had for us? What do you want to actually hear from us? And at JCash10, at it's Surab Minot, I didn't do well with that one. At Hiram Mendez, at Ian's the name _57, at the underscore Gab. This will be worth it soon. At OKJC, who you can see up on the screen now. At T Williams 115. They all want to know: is it as bad as the critics are saying? So let's just answer that.
No.
No.
It's not.
No, not at all. It is a fine movie. It is entertaining, and that's all you can really ask. I don't really understand why people want to leave a superhero movie thinking that their lives are going to be changed. Like a Dark Knight, that wasn't... Like, that's not a superhero movie.
Groundbreaking.
It was groundbreaking,
Yeah.
but it wasn't...
It wasn't a superhero movie.
Yeah.
It was it was a crime movie, like a sprawling crime epic that happened to feature superheroes.
Exactly. You had a few costumes in there, and we liked it because we liked Batman.
But
That's
they
it.
were real, grounded human heroes. When I think this time it takes a step out of reality and it goes a little bit fantastical. That's the big difference.
But they still stay human because they even pointed out in the movie there is a line, spoilers, where they talk about that they're called metahumans in this world, and like it's more of trying to figure out how to control the human element. And in this movie, you really feel for a lot of the characters their human side, and they're able to showcase it pretty well for a majority of the squad.
Sure.
I will disagree with you on that there. For me, the movie was fine, and there are a lot of like fun, good elements in this movie. I feel like the script is the weakest of them.
Agreed.
And
The story or just the overall dialogue?
all of it.
Oh, really?
I think, though, that the actors did very well with what they had.
100%. I think that the fact that we feel as much as we do for many of the characters is a testament to how well they are played. Jay Hernandez is El Diablo, Will Smith, Viola Davis, Margot Robbie, even Jared Leto.
Sorry, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I really felt for all of them, and I think it's a huge testament to the power of acting, how much I enjoyed this movie.
Even Joel Kinnaman, and I have not liked Joel Kinnaman in
was
really
great.
anything. He was really good, and for the role, it's a pretty plain role. Even in the comics, he's not a dynamic character. They tried some stuff, tried to make him dynamic. Did it pan out? It's up to you guys. It's your opinion. It's individual's opinion. I didn't really care, but I still enjoyed his character and what he brought to the table.
Okay.
I honestly really think that the acting is the best part. They're very interesting characters, and whether or not the script allowed them to show just how fantastic or interesting they could be, what you did see, you did connect with in a way. Were there too many characters that were trying to develop a beautiful exposition, a lot of story, a lot of heartfeltness? Yes, a little bit too much happening, which overshadowed a lot of the rest of what they were trying to do. But overall, standout performance from Will Smith. Holy hell, guys.
Haven't seen that Will Smith in a while.
Yeah, he was the most awake he's been in years.
He
And
just
not even
got
that,
it.
he brought complete A game for this movie that maybe didn't deserve it, but
Right.
like he still
Because
brought
on
it.
the page, it's a character that really isn't that sympathetic, and
Right.
he managed to like expertly toe that line between charismatic and wrong. Basically, like this guy, he's somebody who does enjoy what he does. He does enjoy killing
Yeah.
people, and I believe that, and I believe
It's fun
that
for
he
him.
cares about his daughter.
Yeah.
And it's a very difficult role to play.
That's why this movie could be really interesting.
Yeah.
And it hits on the point a little bit, but what I enjoy about the Suicide Squad comics is that at the end of the day, these are bad people.
Yes.
They are still human beings who have, like, they love and they hurt and whatnot. You kind of touch upon that a little bit, but since it's so stuffed and the plot was
Very
so
bloated.
rushed at some points, you don't really get to experience that too much.
Because it's funny that you mentioned that they're really honing in that these are the bad guys. If you haven't seen the movie yet, take a flask in with you and drink every time Will Smith says bad guys or bad guys are mentioned or that's
kill,
reiterated.
anything like that.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I think it's important to note, like,
I do not encourage binge drinking.
going into this movie, I was like, seeing all the bad reviews, I was like, I need to go into this movie, having had a few drinks or something. I went in completely sober and actually had a great time. The thing to remember is that the script for this movie was written in about 6 weeks. Like, it was super rushed. Yeah.
Really?
David Ayer wrote it in the span of 6 weeks.
Right.
They rushed it into production, and then the studio required reshoots to change up the tone a little bit. And what you see in the final movie is a mix of the two things.
Yes.
And I think that lends itself to some of the choppiness and messiness that a lot of critics are harping on. Yeah. Yes, it's choppy. Yes, it's kind of messy, but it's not bad. I would say it's definitely better in my book than Batman v Superman.
Agreed.
Though the best parts of Suicide Squad aren't better than the best parts of Batman v Superman.
Interesting.
That is interesting because for me, because this movie was just way more enjoyable and entertaining than Batman v Superman, I appreciated the highs and lows of this movie more. But really quick, number score out of 10. How'd you feel about this? And then we can hop into spoiler territory.
Right.
Just so you guys know, you can run out and watch the movie right now, and then you can come back and watch the rest of this video. What do you think?
Look, better than average, better than what the critics have been saying, better than what's on a lot of these scores. I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. It's
Nice.
65% for me.
How about you?
I have to agree with Maude. It's not a bad movie. It's not necessarily a very good movie, in my opinion, either. But there are a lot of, like, really great, interesting pieces in it. And I would love to see David Ayer's director's cut. I would love to see his full vision of the movie. I think there is a good movie hidden in here.
Yeah.
Right? I'd have to say I originally put down 7.5. But I'm going to put it 7 because I think I enjoy it a little bit more than both of you guys.
Yes.
But it's still, I am not ignoring the problems, and I have problems that are different from what you guys had with this movie. But I still think you guys should go out and see it. It's worth buying a movie ticket. I don't know anybody who went out and saw the IMAX 3D version of this. We saw normal, and it was
normal,
just fine.
and it was perfect.
Yeah. So, what?
I think when you're watching it, we both had extreme moments where it was just so great and so wonderful, and that's what you want in a movie just like this. But there were equal amounts of
A lot of people pointed out there were cringe moments. I didn't have those. I just noticed that there were just glaring problems. And I was just like, okay, let's move past this. But okay, we're going to hop into spoiler territory.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, get it out.
Get ready.
Get out!
Now, let's kick it off with what did we like from this movie? Matt, go ahead.
We already said the actors, but I'm going to specifically, again, name check Will Smith and Viola Davis. I don't think the movie would work without them. Personally.
Agreed.
They carry a lot of this movie. Viola Davis grounds it really well. Her Amanda Waller is brutal and efficient. She's everything that I want Amanda Waller to be. And if
I want to hug her, but at the same time, I'm so scared of
I'm
her.
so scared of her.
You.
I love her in the movie. I love Will Smith in the movie. Jay Hernandez as El Diablo really surprised me.
Yeah.
He's one of the most interesting character who's not as developed as Margot Robbie and Will
That's
Smith.
because he went into some sort of bullshit final form that came out of nowhere.
I wouldn't call it bullshit.
nowhere.
I wouldn't call it bullshit because that was fucking rad.
That
No,
was-
my bullshit means amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
good.
my version of
Okay,
bullshit.
okay.
Like,
But
whoa.
here's the thing, like, you guys are talking about, like, wow moments. I don't know why, but they didn't hit me the way that I feel like they hit you guys.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like Deadshot on top of the car.
did that not hit you?
Come on,
that was
so
cool,
cool.
but it wasn't like, I know when a movie is working for me, when I just have the world's biggest smile on my face and my
Civil
mouth
War.
is open. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
And I had moments that I recognized as cool, or even like in Ghostbusters. I don't want to spoil Ghostbusters, but there's a moment like in the climax of that movie featuring Kate McKinnon being awesome that gave me that moment. And Deadshot on the car didn't give me that moment.
It didn't?
No,
I
El
feel like-
Diablo's final form didn't
What?
give me that moment. I appreciated them. I thought they were cool,
No, I haven't.
but I don't know if it was just like the moments were rushed or what. It didn't set me up for it and then knock it down.
Okay, for me, I've really got to talk about the scene where Deadshot gets on the car. We kind of have an understanding that this guy nails that shot. We've seen him assassinate a target. We've seen him spray hundreds of bullets into the same spot on
See,
the.
I had a bigger reaction to that.
Really?
That was
the gun
fucking
range.
cool.
Yeah, when he just went off with those. That was awesome.
That's for me. That's seeing the ability, and then the scene on the hood of the car. That's seeing it in action, and for me, that finally set the tone that this is a superhero movie because that was a superhero moment. And watching these people who have been in charge their whole lives, the best of the best as a human, and then seeing this guy do that. Even though he is still technically a human, seeing that for me and seeing Rick Flag in awe of Deadshot being like,
Oh, all the soldiers. They were
get
taken
it.
aback. But that's fine. I mean, if you didn't feel it as much, but you still I agree with you when it comes to Jay Hernandez. I don't know what he is from. And also El Diablo, there's at least 3 different types of El Diablos in DC Comics. All of them are underdeveloped. All of them really shouldn't be in movies because they might be in TV shows every once in a while, but they're so bleh.
Yeah.
And in this, he was so interesting. Basically, this is just David Ayer taking little bits of what he knows from comics and building a brand new character, and I appreciated it.
They did give enough exposition for his character. You understood it. He goes, hey, I've gone too far. I've lost everything that meant something to me. And hearing him say, I've killed my wife, I killed my children. You realize that, this guy realizes he's too powerful and he can't contain it. So then to see it unleash, and then he sacrifices himself. The only thing that I did have a problem with his particular story arc is that he said he laid down a boundary with the Suicide Squad, and you saw it time and time again. No, this isn't my fight. I don't want to use my powers. I am too strong. This isn't going to happen. And all he got as a response, especially from Deadshot, was poking and prodding and pushing him and overstepping that boundary constantly to unleash it. And in response, he says, these are my friends. That to me didn't really make sense because it didn't feel like he was actually getting support at all from the Suicide Squad, that they were using him as the one thing he didn't want to be, and that was a weapon.
Yeah.
And he showed absolute gratitude for it. And I was like, okay, that's
a plot hole right
Yeah,
there.
that is, I get that. What did you guys think?
But I'm glad it happened because it was so freaking cool.
It was so fucking cool. But moving through some of the characters, how did you guys feel about some of the lesser ones? Captain Boomerang, let's start with him.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Okay.
Easily Jai Courtney's best performance.
I agree.
Because he's so bad in everything else, and he's
good.
so good in this. And my boy, he's in it. He's in it. We're in spoiler
Flash?
territory. Come on,
Yeah.
it was one scene.
I like that moment. Yeah.
I like that moment. It meant nothing whatsoever.
Captain Boomerang has robbed every bank in Australia, and now he's moved on to America. He's
To
like, how's it going?
Central City, Missouri.
I just have to go on record. The Flash's costume is disgusting.
Wrong.
It looks like a cockroach, like a red cockroach, and
Wrong.
it looks
See, the funny
gross.
thing about that is, I don't like it as much. I think
Wrong.
the Flash having metal armor is just so against what we've been seeing in the TV show. So I guess I have to reacclimatize. That's all that is for me. It's just a little jarring because it's not what I'm used to. Could I be flexible with it? Sure. Did I like
Can
what
the Flash
Barry?
beat? Not really. He can't move.
That's
very
exactly
well.
no, you can't. You can't. But it's irrelevant when you can go that fast, I guess.
Yeah.
Did I like what Ezra Miller brought as the Flash? This is the second time that we've seen him. First time was in the trailer that we got during Comic-Con. Now we see he just gave a little bit, hardly any dialogue. It was great.
So you guys liked all of the Batman and Flash stuff that was in the movie?
No.
She did not like the Batman stuff. I enjoyed it. I like seeing Batman not going out and murdering people like we saw in Batman v
How's
Superman.
he launching himself on Margot Robbie's face? And I know he was trying to give her CPR, but that was just like.
I mean, he went for it and then she pulled him in. That's how. Because she woke up because she wasn't. It
was CPR.
woke up
So
immediately.
she did a Wendy Peppercorn reverse. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. But
Awesome
also her.
Sandlot reference.
There you go. And pass along to you. There you go. I really enjoyed Jai Courtney. Captain Boomerang is boring as shit in the comics.
Honestly, he could have been a weaker character. Sorry to keep interrupting
No,
me. He
you
could
could-
have been a really weak character because you're seeing Diablo, you're seeing all these great powers,
Croc,
and then he's
yeah.
just like, hey, check it on my Samsung what this is doing, eh?
Well, I think it's smart to just be like a kind of like a creepy weirdo because like everybody else is like a badass or has like a soulful story. We need a comedic relief character, and I wouldn't say he brought it in every scene, but I was impressed. There were a number of comedic beats with him that worked.
He was one of my favorite characters. I appreciated, again, the comedy that he brought to it. I like that he had some not arrows, that's the different TV
boomerangs.
show. Boomerangs, which were actually useful. Didn't get why he rejoined the team, really, because he left, which was funny. Like, he was like, oh, we're getting out of here? Like, the bomb's not going to go off? Okay, I'll leave.
Yeah.
Even though they'll still get him later. But, like, it was... Again, for me, biggest kind of problem, and I'm getting off track just for a second, but there is 30 minutes of movie that we are missing from this.
Yes.
There is something like the entire Rush conflict that they had to set up with Enchantress and the brother figure and whatnot. Like, that was something that obviously the studio grabbed, which, bless you, there's a sneeze.
R2.
Long sneeze. But no, I'm missing something, so I feel like you could have had more time to set up Captain Boomerang in this.
Yeah.
I think you needed a little bit more as well.
And Katana.
Oh, I agree with that one.
But here's the
completely.
thing, though.
How do they have sexual chemistry all of a sudden? What did she do?
They
that
don't
he's just
have
like-
sexual chemistry. He's just
Well,
into
why are they
her.
supposed to? Sorry.
But I don't even think they're supposed to.
Yeah,
I think he's
I don't
just
think
supposed to be a creep hitting on her.
But I mean, what did she do that he all of a sudden was attracted to?
She's a badass.
Yeah, killing
I mean,
people.
I don't think there was enough there to establish that.
I think it was just a sexy Asian lady who kills people.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to say, as an Australian, this was a very sensitive character that we're seeing. The feedback that he actually got while he was making this from David Ayer was to ham up the Australianism to a point where he was almost a little bit uncomfortable, saying, I don't know if I'll be let back into my country if I do what you're asking me to do.
Really?
Yes. And
That
there was
sounds
one
silly.
line that he drew and he was just like, I will not cross this. I loved it when we get the first shooting scene and he's there ducking around with the beer, sculling that. That is so Australian. That is so beautiful. I was like, yes, you are speaking to me. And I noticed that the beer was not a Foster's and it was supposed to be. And that's where Jai Courtney said, no.
Hell yeah.
Aussies don't drink fucking Foster's, never have, never will. It's a whole marketing scam. He cracked a VB. And for everyone who doesn't understand, that was a big thing for me.
All right.
All right.
You
I
got
like
one.
it
pass
so
it
much.
along.
I like that. I'm just keeping the positivity with a negative.
Are
we
we
still
still
a little bit
talking
more about
about?
the
Are we
pink-
still talking about characters?
Oh, we're going through
Oh, yeah.
characters.
Okay.
Going through characters. Give me a quick
Hold on, so
rundown.
we give a thumbs up for Captain Boomerang.
Captain
well
Boomerang?
Done. Well done,
Yes.
Jai.
Yeah.
We brought up Katana. What do you think?
Completely pointless.
Yeah, a little
completely
bit.
pointless. Like
Yeah.
she's not a part of the team. Then all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, great, you're here. You're late." It's like, why? Why even have her? Why even have her? She's given one scene to give her any kind of context whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's
And
no
she's crying at some point. And you're like, oh, come on.
But it was like after a funny moment, it went really funny and then super serious with that. You
Yeah.
said, what?
It's just it's a
invasive.
thankless role. She did a good job with it. She did what she could.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you had to have the character in the movie. If you can't figure out a good way to fit her in, just don't have her.
It also didn't make sense, Matt, because, they're having this whole, we need to get metahumans in here. We need to get the forces. No, this is awful. We don't have anything to do with them. But she's working for you guys.
Yeah, it's like you already have a metahuman on the staff.
But you're acting like she doesn't exist.
Well, okay, she's not a meta.
She's
not
not.
a meta.
She's a
She's
regular
got a
person.
magic sword.
Magic sword.
Yeah.
Which
for
like
me-
then like why are the government officials so incredulous when they're talking about magic? Like real
Exactly.
magic? Yeah, like the magic sword person that you have on
She
staff.
felt like an afterthought. They're like, oh, crap, well, we were going to put her in.
She is an afterthought for the entire thing. Besides the
Yeah.
fact that her sword is the sword that stops most of the conflict. I
But
feel
then
like
it
that's
should
the
have been
reason she's
Katana
there.
using the sword and not Harley Quinn.
or like
Oops.
freaking just have it be one of Captain Boomerang's boomerangs. Have
that cuts the
yeah, that
Enchantress
cuts the
open?
heart open. Like legitimately, have the big evil Egyptian guy who has no name whatsoever. Brother.
Yeah.
Have him knock a boomerang down and it skitters to the floor and then it happens to be right there. Have it be a boomerang that's sharp. It doesn't have to be the katana. Get rid of the
It
character.
would be kind of be
Yeah.
badass if she used the boomerang.
It
to-
would be damn
Yeah.
cool to carve open a heart.
Katana, those are some thoughts. What do you think about Rick Flag?
I liked Rick Flag. I don't think he had any chemistry with June Gloom.
No.
Yeah.
None.
And it didn't bug me as much because I was like, this is how you're bringing the characters together. This is how Enchantress is even attached to the Suicide Squad whatsoever. But yeah, I enjoyed what he brought, his chemistry or his relationship with Will Smith, Deadshot.
Oh, I loved it. The way that he spoke to the team, the way that they interacted, his authority that he had, all amazing.
But also, he's been kind of beaten down by Amanda Waller. He's been kind of defeated.
He's
yeah.
been kind of beaten down and defeated by David Ayer. If
Yeah.
you read that
Yeah.
what was it, a Gizmodo piece or Kotaku piece
Yeah.
that was all about how horrible it was working on this
Yeah.
movie, psychological torture. Now having seen the movie and then reading that, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I felt he was kind of flat. He didn't really do anything for me. He served a purpose, I guess. But I couldn't help but think about how good Tom Hardy would have been in the role.
I thought about that, but then I thought that's a waste of time for Tom Hardy.
It really would have been.
Joel,
It's a thankless part.
If you think about it, Joel Kinnaman really didn't bring, or Tom Hardy couldn't have brought anything different to the role that Joel Kinnaman,
And poor
did.
Scott Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood, waste of time.
What
Yeah.
pour one
Waste
out
of
for
his
him.
time.
What a good guy. What a good looking
Clint's
guy.
mad.
Yeah.
Clint's mad
he said
about it.
6 lines. Not even. No, well, that
Not
was
even.
generous. That
And
was
now
generous.
he's gone.
Yeah.
He's
He
gone.
gets decent billing. He comes up in the credits pretty fast.
Killer Croc, what'd you guys think?
Great makeup. Great makeup.
Looked
Decent
amazing.
characterization. The weird ADR voice does not fit.
Couldn't hear him.
Couldn't understand
The
him.
only thing we got was "I love me" or
I'm beautiful.
I'm beautiful. That's
I'm
what it is.
beautiful. I'm beautiful. I asked to be put down here.
No, I'm sorry, I-
Oh,
based-
is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, I
It's like,
couldn't hear it.
I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is he like? Dare I say like I don't know if it's like necessarily racist, but it's just like kind of like an oddly
He is-
urban
He wanted
characterization.
BET.
From what I know is that like he was like he was black, and then he like this thing
Do you
came
know what would have
over
been really
his
cool to
skin.
fix that?
Yeah.
Having that story, knowing who he was,
Yeah.
knowing how the accident happened, not saying he's just evolution backwards.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Is like
show us.
he's actually like the one character. Like I don't think I needed to see El Diablo's backstory, and I could have just heard him talk about it. I don't think I necessarily needed to see all of Deadshot's backstory. I didn't need that much Harley Quinn backstory. Like show how she becomes Harley Quinn. Give us a scene that shows why she loves the Joker.
disagree.
But I didn't need the scene with Batman. I didn't need to see how she got captured. But Killer Croc's backstory, I could have used like one scene of him as a human to have us identify with him just a little bit.
He would have been
It's
like
just-
a child, and you would have been able to feel for
He
him.
looks too outrageously spectacular to not understand it.
Okay.
You can't just be like, oh, and that's who he is. How? Why? Why? So many questions, and we just needed a little bit more of that.
We did. I agree, and I think it's a better choice than King Shark because that's what then the original idea was to have him
Oh.
in there. But it would only have been CGI, and it
I'm
gave it.
sorry, I would have loved King
I would have
Shark.
loved King Shark too. I mean, I like that they went more practical.
Yeah.
It was strange when he took off his shirt and you're like, oh, his head is enormous.
Yeah,
his head
his
is
arms-
so
his frame
huge
is- yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
it. But like, I loved like the swimming and everything, and I would like to see more of him. And maybe we can get some backstory in the future. Going through the line. Oh, and hit our big guys. Harley Quinn. Let's start with Maude. How did you feel about Harley Quinn?
I was super protective of this character because this is the first time we're really seeing her fleshed out on the big screen. Some of her lines, I was like, you nailed it. Others, I was like, God, that's not how she would have said it. And then I was getting a little bit pedantic. But by the end, I actually thought she was one of the better parts of the movie. And even though I thought Jared Leto's Joker was incredibly over the top and ridiculous and just too showmanshipy, the whole thing, I loved their interaction and I loved their kind of tiny view that we got into their completely dysfunctional and abusive relationship. And I would have loved to have seen more of them together. I actually think that the introduction of Harley Quinn and how she became Harley from Harleen was totally rushed. It didn't make any sense that she went in and she still sounded like Harley. I actually wish that she had become this, she dropped her voice and she was like more of a therapist in a way. And then all of a sudden, zoink, you saw that she just switched. Because I don't think you got that enough. And why she fell in love with the Joker. You didn't see how he was manipulating her or controlling her. Immediately she was like, I got you a toy. And he was like, thanks, darling, or whatever that was. And I was like, no, this doesn't make sense. No, this isn't how it goes. And it's such a beautiful story that I wish they got it right. But as Harley as a
think
character, boing, bat, all of that. Way too much focus on her ass, even though it looked great. I thought that she actually brought more to the character than her butt.
She did.
Yeah.
I think for a Suicide Squad movie, for a team up, they could have done better. But with all of the problems we're hearing from it, I think this is the best we could have gotten. But I want to hear from you. What do you think of Deadshot overall for
What
this
about
movie?
more Harley?
Oh, do you have more thoughts about
I
Miss
do.
Harleen?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite as critical of Harley. I do think that her performance and Jared Leto's performance were better than the script. And here's what I'll say is like Harley Quinn is a character that works well on a cartoon and works well on the page, but is very difficult to make feel like a real person. And I think it's a thankless job, both for as a writer and as an actor. And I would say that I could forgive any of the weirdness in how she sounded when she said Puddin' or Mr. J. Because
It was
of
jarring, wasn't it?
It was weird. Like I think it would have pissed fans off if they didn't hear it, but I honestly think it's weird to come out of the mouth of a real person.
Yeah.
And I would have been fine if they hadn't said it. The thing that for me like made the character work is that one moment after she remembers jumping into the chemicals and she says to Deadshot, "Have you ever been in love?" And seeing in the Enchantress vision like what she wanted, which is just like a normal life with this man. She's like so many women who are or people who are in abusive relationships. They see the good version of the person that they love inside, and they imagine what it would be like to be with the person without all the bad things.
Yeah.
And for me, that made the character work really, really well. Deadshot, I already said everything that I want to say about Deadshot. It just really a great performance. I do think that script wise, it kind of ping pong between like, I'm a bad guy, I love my daughter, I kill people and I like it, I want to change for my daughter. There's also like that one moment where he's like deciding whether or not to shoot the explosives, and it seems like he's supposed to not want to shoot the explosives because that's what his daughter wouldn't want. Oh no, that's the Enchantress telling him not to do that. That's the Enchantress making him imagine his daughter. I'm realizing
get
right
that.
now. No, because it's a confusing moment that confounded the shit out of me. I was like, he's about to shoot the explosive and save the day, and then his daughter appears and she's like, "Please don't shoot, Daddy. You shouldn't shoot. It makes you a bad person."
I didn't know that was.
That was the Enchantress putting that vision in his head, trying to get him not to do it. That makes that moment make so much more sense. It was really weird.
It was a strange moment, but no, it was, she puts her hand out and then the girl pops up.
Yeah.
Will Smith was like the saving grace for this movie for me. Not that I hated it. Everything, I didn't need heart in this movie. I didn't need to feel at all, really, because it could, this is, in my head, these movies are kind of like Fast and the Furious movies. You're not going to leave crying, except for the most recent one with the Paul Walker tribute or whatever. But it's like, you just want some kind of fun, popcorny, whatever. And like, I like these characters, do them justice, and then we're good. But everything they brought to the table with Deadshot, because I went and did some research on the character, my God, is he depressing. He is one of the saddest. There's one story where he has a son that is not talked about, thank God, in this, but like, the son had been kidnapped by his wife, and basically the son gets murdered and like body gets mutilated and stuff. So it's like this guy is so sad, but in this role that Will Smith had, he was able to bring some jokes, he was able to bring some like lighter moods, but they were also able to like kind of carry the heavier emotions throughout. I mean, I liked it. Harley, really didn't like her in the first half of this movie.
Right.
Took me a while to get into it, but once Joker was thought to be dead, but of course he's not dead, it's the Joker. Then she was able to kind of get out of him and become something
Herself.
original. Yeah, and like that's what I wanted from this movie.
She didn't mourn much, did she?
She did. The entire time she's mourning. She thinks that he is dead.
Yeah.
That's why she has the vision at the end of living with Joker.
Yeah, but she's like pouring drinks, and she's like, all right, we may as well have some drinks.
Oh,
and get
I
drunk."
also can't tell the time period of this movie. Like with the conflict that happens, like with like the fiery trash tornado, whatever, to the squad coming there, to the afterthought. I'm like, is this like a week? Is this like weeks or is this days? Like
it's a sign of a bad movie when you can't track time.
I can't track time at all.
And it could take place over the course of 2 days or 2 months.
Yeah. Don't know.
Yeah. The first act is the
trailer.
Well,
Let's
it's the
be
trailer,
honest.
but it's also it's confounding because it looks like that's where you have the most like studio version and Ayer's version smashed together. But it also features most of my favorite moments.
Yes.
The editing is fantastic, but my God, they
No,
shove
it's
it.
not.
We don't like the. I mean, I like the fun,
The graffiti and
type
neon.
neon editing.
See, that to me, those are the studio sections that I could have done without. I liked
Really?
the cleanness of so like if you look at the scenes in the first act, the scene at dinner where she's going over all the Suicide Squad members, and then how they repurposed flashbacks that I think were supposed to go later in the movie, with all of the graphics of like who they are and statistics. That's all studio mandate stuff. But the scene where she just comes in and addresses the Joint Chiefs and gets them to greenlight Task Force X with Enchantress works really well. And I'm like, that's a cool way to start a movie. It's really simple. There's still some mystery. We don't know anything about these people. And then we learn about them as they're introduced after that scene. That's how it was supposed to go.
We can guess. I appreciated it. I felt like it was overstuffed with like 40 pop songs within like a 10-minute span. It was
Some
like
Queen.
it was you at points you're like, I can just tune this out because I know there's just going to be a different song. But it's like, why are you playing different pop songs every single time a new scene starts?
Because
it gives it a much more of a Hot Topic vibe, doesn't it?
Yes, it's Hot Topic the movie.
It's to make it feel more fun. Like that's the thing is I feel like the big note that they had coming out of those first test screenings is the movie isn't fun and we sold it as a fun movie.
Right.
So every song that has been featured in any trailer ever for the movie is in that.
I just want to take it to Twitter really quickly because we have been talking about Deadshot and Harley Joker. Yuri Magurli, says, was Will Smith good as Deadshot or was he essentially playing himself? And how did he compare to his CW counterpart?
Better than the CW counterpart.
Way better.
Yes. Is he playing himself? I mean, he kind of always does a little bit.
I thought he was more Deadshot than Will Smith.
I really agree with Maude
Yeah.
on this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
He
think it's a
changed.
very firm character.
I couldn't see that. I mean, we're going to see it again tonight because I happen to have an extra ticket. But so I might be able to analyze it more. But when I'm watching it, I appreciate it. But I'm watching Will Smith for Will Smith. It feels like Will Smith now with a gun. Who's really good at shooting that gun in the daughter.
He's very charismatic, yes, but everything that he does, you watch his eyes, everything is through Deadshot's very singular worldview, which is that, you know what? It's all about me and the people I care about, and if other people have to die because of it, cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've seen this before from him. I have seen this before. It kind of feels like iRobot. It kind of feels like a couple other action movies that he's done. So that's where I'm coming from. Obviously, we disagree.
We always see Will Smith being the only hero, and this time he's the leader of a bunch of anti-heroes. And I heard off camera that Will Smith really took it upon himself to be the leader, off screen, on screen, like that was his role. And when they were conducting those group interviews, a lot of the press tours that he was doing, it was him being in charge of the group. And I really feel that leadership resonated completely on screen. And that's something that we don't usually see from Will Smith. He doesn't lead a group. Unless you can talk about Independence Day. And now that I think about it, there's more and more popping up in my head.
Yeah, but I appreciated that, and you can see that on screen.
Yes.
So, yeah.
He did an interview before he shot Suicide Squad, I think around the time that he took the part, where he said that he had kind of he had lost a lot of his humility in the years leading up to the movie. Like the reason why he did movies like After Earth and stuff, he'd lost sight of the reason why he enjoyed acting in the first place. He was obsessed with being the biggest movie star in the world and being a big success. And this was a step towards him trying to be an actor again and approach it fresh.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really pays off.
Yeah, he was. With some of these characters, I had a real problem with Cara Delevingne. She took me out of the movie big time. I don't think that she was a great villain. That interpretive dance stuff she was
took
doing
me
was
out of
just
the movie.
awful. That was my cringe factor.
That whole plot, the villain plot, the threat was the least developed, least interesting part of the movie. It made it feel like a late 90s superhero movie, like Blade or something. Because it's just sort of like, okay, vague reason why I want to destroy the world or whatever. Okay, cool, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And it's just like throw a bunch of CGI
They're
at
not
the screen.
worshipping me.
Right.
Yeah.
Therefore, they must all die.
Right. It's supposed to be personal because you have this relationship between Rick Flag and June Moon, but we don't see them together long enough to give us a reason for them to root for them to get back together.
Yeah, you don't want him to save her.
No,
you have
no. Just kill her.
cause for
Just
that.
kill her. Get rid of her. Yeah.
But for her,
You'll be sad, but it'll be better.
it was obvious that she was acting a part. Will Smith, it felt like he was wearing the part. And there's such
agreed.
a difference.
I haven't seen Cara Delevingne in anything else, but she really didn't fit in this
She didn't
movie.
fit.
No. She didn't.
Also, very age inappropriate for Rick Flag, because didn't she play like a high schooler like in the last year in that Paper Town?
And now all of a
Paper
sudden
Town.
she's like this
She's a scientist.
archaeologist.
Isn't she like 21?
Something like that. Something like
It just,
These
I
late
think that she was
30s.
very miscast, and the fact that at the end of the movie they hinted towards because her profile was in there again with the Justice League, I was like, oh, she's
Does she
going to be
still have
bad.
her powers? No, I don't think she has her powers anymore, but for me...
They were cool powers that we
they
didn't
were.
really get to see because she was.
I think it was a file on all metahumans.
Yes, I think
Gotcha.
that's what it was.
Okay.
But for me, I've read stories with Enchantress, and every time I leave a little depressed because all it is that she gets possessed by this thing. In the comics, she doesn't get to say Enchantress and have it come out, and she can kind of have a little control. No, Enchantress just takes over the body, and and June's just stuck inside, and there's no love interest. She's just stuck inside, endlessly being tortured
Cool.
over
So
and
you
over
can
again.
see that was just forced together.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So Hussein Hazimi has said, spoiler, were you a fan of seeing Joker being a lovesick puppy over Harley, or should it have been reversed?
No,
I thought that was great.
Loved it.
To me, that's absolutely who the Joker is. He's built his bride from the ground up.
Yes.
He decided, he tested her. He tested her love and devotion every step of the way. He put her through hell, and she still wanted him. And for somebody, even as twisted as Joker, to have someone return that loyalty, he's
that
going to
twistedness.
protect it however he can. Like, he'll, still toy with her and, throw her away and whatever, but he'll always come back because of that power dynamic. He has power over her no matter what. That's a powerful thing. And it's a side of Joker that we've never seen before. Now, granted, I don't like seeing Joker be like the owner of a nightclub. That scene was fucking stupid.
That scene was awful. And what was the
common.
point? What was the point of saying, that's my girl, have her, she's yours? And him being like, I get what's happening here.
You were
No.
trying to display their fucked up relationship,
Right.
and it didn't really work.
There were
add
so
anything
many
because
better
we already
examples of
had
how you
it.
could do
Yeah,
that.
you had it.
Yeah.
You could have had another scene. You could have used anything else.
And him planting the phone with her, so she had that little secret that was between them, knowing she would get rescued. I actually really liked that.
I like
By the
that
way,
too.
love the guard who was
Ike
at Joker's corner.
Barinholtz
Yeah.
was amazing.
Again, the casting in this movie is the best part.
And he had great dialogue. I really enjoyed
He's a
everything
funny
he had to
guy.
say. He's very funny.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I didn't like the Joker. I know you.
I
know
couldn't
you
stand
appreciated
his
him, but-
performance. I loved him with Harley. I loved their dynamic. I love what they brought. But these little ha moments, like he was trying way too hard.
Yeah, someone described it as he was trying to be Heath Ledger's Joker while delivering the lines of Jack Nicholson's Joker as like the crime version. I'm like, I can kind of see that, but like it's just some didn't work. I know he put a lot into this role, which I appreciate, but it just didn't work for me.
was
See,
too much.
I disagree. To me, the performance works really well. It's the script that underserves it. When he starts laughing, I can see an idea hit his brain and him realize that it's hilarious, and then he starts laughing to himself because he can't take it. To me, he's pure id. He's somebody who has no limits, who's just going to do whatever he wants. He doesn't think about anything ahead of time. He's just purely reactionary. And that, to me, makes sense. As somebody who has this twisted sense of humor, when you're laughing, you're not thinking, you're just kind of doing. Like, you're following the fun. And for him, the fun is really, really fucked up.
Yeah, no, I do see that, but his like weird, like the use of the construction of the Joker
the
in this.
tattoo, the smile tattoo.
I did not appreciate that, and he puts it up on her, and it's just like it pulled me out of it every time he would pop up on screen. Besides the rescue he did, which I was like, that's great, that's a fun way of using
Oh my
the
gosh, I
Joker.
love the Joker's team.
Both rescues.
The
Oh, the
Joker's
team.
squad. And one of them was wearing a Batman mask, the other one's a panda. I loved that. That kind of was like, this is what the Joker is. This is the nonsensical hysteria that I loved so much, and we finally got that. I feel like the silver grill was a bit too much, and you could see him physically try to get his mouth around his own teeth. And I think that was maybe a costume. I mean, the whole costume.
Yeah.
I remember when the internet lost it when they first saw him. They were like, what are you doing? But I think that actually impacted his performance.
Here's what I'll say. I can understand why people aren't happy with this Joker. It's not my favorite version of the Joker, but I also don't think it's derivative of anything else. Like, to compare it to those other performances, to me, is just like, is being small-minded and is being trapped by other versions you've seen before. If you approach it fresh, if you're just looking at, okay, this is the Joker I know from the comics, what is this guy? I can see this version of the Joker somewhere within the Jokers we've met, but he's not smart enough. He's not a planner. He's not obsessed with Batman. He's just kind of like an animal.
Hey,
and I get that approach, but it's not my favorite approach.
So my criteria for a Joker is one thing. The one thing that you need is, are you scared by him? Does he scare you? Jared Leto's Joker did not scare me.
Nah,
Yeah,
he
okay.
was crazy, and I wouldn't want to be around him, but I'm not
But he
scared.
wasn't frightening.
No, he
Heath
wasn't
Ledger's
frightening.
Joker was frightening.
But again,
It shocked you and chilled you to the core. But this ha moment, I was just like, oh,
And
you're
also-
trying to,
but he
it's
also
like,
he also had an epic setup. Like, by the time you met Heath Ledger's Joker, by the end of the heist sequence in The Dark Knight, he had achieved mythic proportions without having to do very much. Again, it goes back to scripting. This character was shoehorned in because they knew that it would get people into the theater.
Agree.
He didn't have a single scene that was iconic.
Agree.
If there were 6 more months of development on this movie, I guarantee it would be so much better.
No, it would be, and I would have probably have liked Jared Leto more. But based on what I've seen from this performance, all I see, it's. And you can call it small-minded if you would like, but I see that he is trying to emulate previous versions. I can see that because there are a million ways to do the Joker, but the studio's trying to stay safe and do previous versions.
I think Jared Leto's pissed off. I think he's angry. I think he's seen the movie and he's seen the edit, and he even was on record saying that a lot of his scenes were cut, and I think that that's impacted his performance as well, and that why he's not scary to me. I think that there's probably stuff on the edit room floor
that maybe was too dark, or
because they made it more fun.
Definitely.
So I think had we got these dark, vitriolic, beautiful, twisted moments from the Joker, it would have made a lot more sense to me. But it was a little fluffed out and filtered and, cut apart. This is the choppy editing that we're talking about.
I get you. Are there any more tweets or any fun things?
We got
like
a couple of things, so let's do these as quick answers.
Okay,
Cool.
quick answers.
We want to talk about, these are Twitter questions. The first one is from Zandel, which I probably have in here somewhere, but can't find it. So sorry about that, buddy. But @Zandel has said, if you could change something about the movie, what would you change?
Take out Batman and Flash.
Oof. I would say put one more mission in there before they go on this whatever to save the world, because I want to see them being dysfunctional and not working, and that way they can have an arc throughout the entire movie of them actually building like teamwork.
Add one more color other than brown and red for the second and third acts of the movie.
There's no pink. That was the first half.
For me, I want more Harley and Joker. I want more moments between the two. Apparently, Margot Robbie has talked her way into getting a standalone Harley movie to also explore the relationship with Batgirl and Poison Ivy. I just want more of those two together. I think they were great. And also target the specific strengths and weaknesses of a group. Every time I like a group formation and dynamic, it works because each person can contribute something unique to them in the role. Like Slipknot could have gotten everyone up the building, but we didn't actually touch on that.
Oh, Slipknot, waste of time.
Waste
Sorry.
of time completely. I thought
It's
that gag
embarrassing
would
for
have been
that.
funny, but it wasn't.
Somebody pointed out that in the original comic of Suicide Squad, not Task Force X, he was one of the first members, and he's the first one to be killed. But in that,
He was literally a lesson to teach the
exactly.
others.
They always will have a lesson in the movies, though.
But if he just didn't rock up so casually, so last minute without any backstory, it would have been a more impacting death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, he punched just a random woman in the face, so I was like, nah, he can fucking die. He can go ahead.
If just one more thing, it's just the second act of the movie is the worst part of the movie. It's just like shoot a bunch of faceless people, 2 lines, shoot more faceless people, 2 lines, shoot more faceless people. Faceless drones are stupid and boring. Like it's why Age of Ultron sucked, because we were just fighting a bunch of faceless robots. It's
repetitive and
it's
messy.
repetitive and stupid. It's why Star Wars Episode 1 sucked, because you're just watching a bunch of robots get shot by CGI people. Can we stop doing faceless enemies?
Never.
Quality, not quantity, I guess.
We're getting parademons in Justice League.
Great.
Lily Haddon, the tweet is up right now as well. Which character did you sympathize most with?
I think for me, Will Smith, for
Right,
sure. I mean, obviously, you had more to work with it.
Yes.
And, I mean, El Diablo was in there, but Will Smith for sure.
Matt?
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to love somebody who can't love you the way that you deserve, and she got in too deep, and I love how mixed up she is in her head. It's great.
I think that flashback with El Diablo, for me, you could actually hear his little violin playing, but it was like impacting for me. He got my heart. He got it. Desert Punk 92, Bugger. Sorry, I don't have your tweet up. I was so much better before I favorited them all. But anyway, said if you could tell a scene, could you tell if a scene was a reshoot or added in late?
No, I couldn't really tell unless it was some of the final boss fights. There may have been a few. That Joel Kinnaman thing is like, it's over, let's end this.
There's the tweet.
That's ADR, but I didn't really notice any reshoots.
I noticed. I'm telling you, that scene at the dinner table with Viola Davis is a reshoot. And I other scenes I can't tell if they were reshoots or if they were supposed to be later in the movie but were repurposed and put at the front.
It wasn't like Fant Four Stick where Kate Mara had a different hairstyle, like a wig, a really bad wig. So, yeah.
The next question is from Jordan. Here it is. Jordan _Milam, I should say. Was Viola Davis the saving grace of this movie for you like she was for me?
I wouldn't say saving grace, but she was fantastic. She was one of the highest points of it.
She grounded it, and I feel like she's the truest representation of her comic book counterpart.
Oh, yes, for sure.
She was amazing in it. I really think that she held her own, and she got that scariness in the fact that she just assassinated 7 people because they knew too much.
That was a little strange for me. That was like, it felt very like forced, and I get why she did it, kind of. but everything else I love.
See, that to me is pure Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
To shoot just the 7 people.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Boom,
maybe
boom,
this way
boom.
the scene just structured because it was
Oh,
like
no, it was not well shot.
no, it
No,
wasn't well shot.
no.
That's I was like, oh, okay.
And I think they really brush over the fact that Enchantress had a direct line tapped into Amanda Waller's brain with all of the secrets. But it was like one line, which was, how did they know about that base? It's secret. And
Well,
it's
I
like,
think they handled that the best they could.
oh, God, no, that
me.
could have been amazing.
They
That
could have
been-
shown what was happening to her under that water and her getting disconnected from that thing or even getting hooked up to it in the first place.
Yes.
And how the Enchantress is used, like Amanda Waller was the target because there's a vengefulness there because she's stabbing away at her heart. Missed opportunity, glossed over, whatever. The last one that we have is from not only at Divine Moogle, but Marsh_Boy Wonder, who wants to know who our favorite character is. Boy Wonder, loved Croc. He was not evil for evil's sake. He was down to earth.
Gotta remember he's a cannibal.
Yeah.
Everyone glosses over the fact that he is a cannibal, and they're always like, "Oh, I love him." He's like, "Nah, he eats people.
But he's a Croc.
He's straight up. He's eating people." But for me, favorite.
Maybe that's why evolution was backwards for him, because you're not supposed to do that anymore.
I'd say El Diablo. He was an underdog. He is such an underwritten character, but they did a lot of fun with him. They had a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. El Diablo was a really pleasant surprise for me. I had a lot of fun watching him.
My favorite was Harley Quinn.
Awesome.
I had so much fun. She was like the only girl of the squad for a long time, except for Katana, who didn't really say much at all. But
No.
she seems nice. I just thought that she had a lot of laugh moments. People were laughing in the cinema when she was delivering some of her lines. And I was just like, that's fun. And then seeing the backstory where she was like, she just wants to be a 50s mid-housewife kind of thing. Well, midwife is a very different thing. I've just realized.
Just close
Yeah,
enough.
very different.
You get me.
But this movie does have its problems. We've gone through a lot, but it is still entertaining. So overall, I feel like we can suggest that you can go see it in theaters. Yeah, why not?
Absolutely go see it. For me, I don't know that I'll ever revisit this movie, but don't let people tell you that it's bad. It's not a bad
not
movie.
bad.
I don't feel it's deserving of 23% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Maybe a 60%.
Because
I
we
gave
were.
it a 65%.
Yeah, right. That seems I get it's a C- from me. I'd say that. But guys, let us know your thoughts on Suicide Squad on Twitter at SourceFedNERD or at all of our handles. What's your handle?
At Matt Lieberman.
At Maude Garrett.
At Sam Basher, or leave them in the comment section of this video. But also, guys, little plug, little fun thing. If you guys are a fan of Stranger Things, little
So
secret,
good.
we made this awesome shirt with the logo for Stranger Things, but switched it up a little bit to
SourceFedNERD.
It's now available through August 11th. You can get your hands on Nerdy Things t-shirt. It comes in styles for ladies and fellas. Like links. Bit.ly links are down below. Go ahead and check it out. We're all gonna get a hand on them too because I would love to have one.
I love the show. I like Stranger Things a lot. We should do a review for that.
On Stranger Things?
That would be dope.
Probably should have happened last week, huh?
Or the weekend it came out. But we can make it
Yeah.
work. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, comment down below, and share with your friends. I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
I'm Maude.
We'll see you guys next time. Make sure you listen to Only Stupid Answers on Sunday. We're going to be talking about this too. It's going to be awesome. Bye.
Oh, Mr. J.
A new report has come out that states that the negative reviews for Suicide Squad, which are coming in thick and fast, specifically the comments about the pacing issues and chaotic nature of the film, is due to serious studio intervention.